The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and Brianna Aldridge. Ladies, what's poppin'? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
A whole 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A whole week.
7 days too
I mean,
long.
A lot of energy, right? A lot of things that have happened.
A lot going on in the last 7 days. Yeah.
We love to hear it.
All right.
let's
Do
go.
we?
I mean,
Some of it.
that means that they're
Hey, they're working.
moving and shaking. this
Well, there
offseason.
was a lot of other
So
stuff that
much
happened
in-
too.
Oh.
So it's so much and then so little at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean,
Correct.
you got to look at the list, though. Let's go through it real quick. The Cowboys have agreed to a deal with the running back Javonte Williams, guard Robert Jones, defensive tackle Solomon Thomas, defensive end Peyton Turner, linebacker Jack Sanborn, wide receiver Paris Campbell, defensive end Dante Fowler, running back Miles Sanders, and then they traded for a cornerback, Khair Elam. They also traded for another linebacker in Kenneth Murray. They re-signed Oso Digizua, Kavonte Turpin, Brock Hoffman, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, Trent Sieg, Tyrus Wheat, CJ Goodwin, Brian Anger, and the rest have departed. Zach Martin has retired. DeMarcus Lawrence off to the Seahawks, Jordan Lewis off to the Jaguars, Chuma Udoga off to the Jaguars, Chauncey Golston to the Giants, and Cooper Rush to Baltimore. Long list, ladies.
Rico.
And Rico Dowd. Sorry, I know.
say not Rico.
I be acting like that didn't happen.
Yeah, no.
I try
don't
to forget it.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind, because we're sad about it.
It's fine. Best of luck to Rico and his family.
Yeah.
But this defensive end position, let's talk about Dante Fowler and then the reunion with him. Just how big was it to re-sign a guy like that who obviously went off to Washington and had one of his second best career performance in terms of sack performance. But just talking about having Dante Fowler back in the building, guys. I mean, what does that mean for this defensive line? Anybody?
Go ahead, girl.
Crying.
Oh dang!
still-
I
you'll
was like,
still
I was looking at y'all. I was like, I want to
Lead the way, girl. Lead the way.
I'm crying.
Honestly, when you look again, it kind of comes down to, first of all, we already talked about this last week. The Cowboys like familiarity. They like guys that they know, that they've experienced. They don't want no new people like that. So to bring him in again, not surprised. I thought it was a no-brainer, especially with how much production he had with the Commanders. I do think he will, in turn, end up being like a third down pass rusher. I believe that, with Eberflus's system, he does rely on his front four to get home on their own. Dante Fowler is a guy that can win with his pass rush ability as an individual. One thing I will say that I noticed from him and looking within his snap count and things like that in Washington, he clearly, there was a bit of a drop-off because he went from playing, limited snaps here in Dallas and kind of being a rotational piece to being on the field significantly more last year. So I think he does need a rotation. And obviously, too, the run-stopping ability hasn't always been his strong suit. So I look at him as a pass-rushing guy that they're familiar with that will fit into Eberflus's scheme, and we're going from there. So I'm happy to have him back. He always was a joy to be around in the locker room as well.
I know Nicole listed off a bunch of different players, and that was probably, if I had to list them top to bottom, favorite, who's going to be more productive, what have you, he'd be at the very top of my list. So I think that was, out of anything I could get behind, and I think most of what I've been reading from Cowboys Nation, what they can get behind is bringing back that piece, Dante Fowler. Also looking at the list, a lot of what I've been doing, I don't know about you guys, but when I see, okay, this, like, Rico's gone, okay, so who's the new Rico? This Eric Kendricks is gone. Okay, who's the Nick Kendricks? So when I looked at, I know he kind of goes unnoticed, but I think the Cowboys got a big steal from Carl Lawson last year. Practice squad guy, older guy, not a lot of money, came in and he really he went in a little under the radar, but like he started getting people towards his locker towards that back half in the season because he was making the plays, and I know injuries was a big part of why we saw him. So I was kind of rooting to bring him back just because I know the cost of it doesn't, why not? Like, it's not going to cost you a ton looking at what his market value would be. But in this case, this is, in my opinion, the void of what Carl Lawson was able to do the back half of the season is what Dante Fowler comes in to do, but a higher potential than what Carl Lawson offers. So I like it.
Do you think they still might eventually, like maybe it's a later thing? Because Carl Lawson's productiveness,
I liked him.
even on the field. Like there were times he wasn't getting sacks, but the pressures, and we did see him get his legs under him later on in the season. I think he also does have some familiarity with Eberflus, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's him or the D-line coach, one of those. He's played under one of them. And so I would like to have Carl Lawson back as a depth piece as well. What you got?
Yeah, no, I want to go back to Dante Fowler just because, man, he was so fun to cover because he was on his up and up his last year here. And I remember we weren't shocked when he followed Dan to Washington. We were like, dang it. You, Dan Quinn, you struck again. But I'm excited, especially because without a DeMarcus Lawrence, you need that experience in that room. You need a vetted guy who understands not only what it is to play in this position, but with the Cowboys, because we talk about this in and out and again and again and again. With this team, it is a very different feeling than playing with another team. And I actually am curious to talk to him and hear what he has to say about, you know, what differences he's learned going somewhere else and then coming back here, because it could show like an appreciation for the Cowboys in general. So
I love what you said there, sister, because we got a soundbite about that.
Come on.
Cue it up, sis.
Go ahead, Jazz. Let's hear what he had to say. I got a chance to go one-on-one with him when he signed, so he had a lot of good things to say. Go ahead, Jazz.
It was pretty big, you know, just to be able to go out there and, you know, still go out there and just like you say, show the people that I'm still here and be able to produce at a high level. I felt really confident going in this season, especially with these past 2 years, you know, getting to work from Coach AD and Micah and D-Law with the D-line group that we had. I definitely took a lot of that and learned a lot from these past couple years and took that to Washington and, you know, just put it all out there and just let my work, you know, show for itself. I was able to get double-digit sacks and stuff like that with, you know, some more reps that I was able to play this year. But it definitely worked out in a good way, and I'm happy to be back now.
What can you learn or take from what you learned in Washington and bring it back here to Dallas?
You know, just being a vet, you know, definitely matured a lot in that way. I'm getting up there now, so just being a vet, you know, being that vet that can, you know, lead on the young guys, lead by a good way, try to develop them in a good way, lead by a good example and things like that. And, you know, just going out there, setting the tone for my defense and, you know, getting wins and, you know, sacking the quarterback.
What's something that you feel Matt Eberflus can get out of you that no other defensive coordinator has been able to get out of?
He can get a lot out of me, to be honest with you, just because, you know, I still have a lot out there, you know, to prove and, you know, to put out there. So, you know, I'm looking forward to playing in this defense, and I'm ready to go out there and lay it all on the line.
By the way, he tweeted that he felt disrespected going out in that free agency market.
Oh,
As he should.
Yeah, I was going to say, coming in, like, you follow Dan Quinn and they don't bring you back.
Well,
Got to feel some kind of way.
Absolutely.
when they're
regardless.
throwing their money at every free agent, there's only so much to go around. So I guess there is like, is the grass always greener? Because over here, you hear Cowboys fans talking about, hey, you're not spending enough. But over there, it's almost like they're spending too much to where you can't retain good talent that you've had. So is the grass greener? We don't know.
No.
Something else I wanted to point out, too, while I was listening to him talk, he talked about being a veteran, is this room is a beat-up room. You have Marshawn Nealon that had the knee injury, Sam Williams coming back from the season-ending knee injury as well. This could be a good piece that you talked about him being a third-down guy, a rotational piece because those guys are coming back from injury, Sam especially. We've seen how long it takes to come back from those ACL tears, and to be able to give him that grace and not have to worry about stressing their bodies out so quickly from injury, that makes me happy as well. And giving grace to a guy that can get you double-digit sacks. with a little
Yeah,
more,
that's exactly. I was literally like thinking that. Like, I think, like I said, he's at the top of the list when I'm looking at everyone who was brought in. But he's a guy who did this last season compared to everyone else who's coming in. I think all these guys are coming in with something to prove, but he's the one who actually has the resume from last season. Who's like, you could take a little bit of a sigh of relief and assume that it's just going to go up, when some of these other guys that we're going to talk about here shortly, they went a little plateau, they dipped down, and now it's like, okay, we're relying on the coaches and, to be able to get them where they need to be.
Yeah, it was good to hear him talk about maturing and, leading by example and things of that nature. Dante Fowler's time here, there were some times like in games that the penalties, the jumping off sides, the undisciplined play and things like that. So for him to take the initiative and go into Washington to make that a focal point of his game to improve on, it does show that he's grown. And I think that would be something that's not only, I'm sure Cowboys fans welcome, but also, too, I think it's good for him as a player to recognize that and that it had implications on some of the things that happen in game, so he can improve from that. So I think if we're getting a more mature, lead by example, Dante Fowler, to your point, Bree, it is going to be, and Jess, it's going to be beneficial to these young guys that are still developing as well.
Let me ask y'all something. How much of what DQ did in Washington is similar with what Eberflus wants to do here that will allow Dante Fowler to thrive in Dallas? If there are no similarities, that's fine. But if there are similarities, what do you feel like will allow him to thrive?
I felt like one of the biggest things was a cultural reset. And I think that's what Dan Quinn has done in Washington that's made it so effective so quickly. And they needed it, right? We all know the state of the Commanders before Dan got there. And changing kind of the narrative that surrounded them with the cultural reset. So for me, bringing Eberflus in here, that's a name that is well respected. It kind of like makes you stand straight up. And, Aisha as a soldier, just like get ready because and you have respect for that person coming in. Not to say they didn't before, I want to make that clear. But after last season and just how disappointing it was, game after game and defeat after defeat, basically with the defensive side of the ball, compared to what they had done in years before with the ball hawking abilities and the PBUs and the sacks, it was just disappointing. So I think the cultural reset on the defensive side of the ball is so important, especially, goodness gracious, for the younger guys that had to experience that last year as their only NFL experience. Being able to kind of switch that narrative, I think, is just, it is going to be monumental for them and really telling if, they can turn the page from whatever was going on last year on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
What you got, Bree?
What Jess said with culture-wise, but also I think this group with the changes with the DC, with the defense once again, and then we saw again with Zimmer last season, I think for a guy like Dante Fowler, like you said, there's some growth there when the last time you guys had him here with discipline. This is a defense that's a lot more simple than what we saw last season in general.
Absolutely.
See ball, attack. See ball, attack. It's not going to be a lot of having to yes, you'll be in the classroom, but it's not going to be as advanced as what we saw last season. And I think that fits perfect for a guy like Dante Fowler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in regard to, I think, Nicole, you asked about, the time with Dan Quinn in Washington, what that could do for him or in comparison to Zimmer's system, whatever the case may be. When Dan Quinn was here in Dallas, there was the Dallas Cowboys defensive line did what good defensive lines could do, and that was win with 4. And that's really directly what Eberflus' system is like. Obviously, Dan Quinn would bring a corner blitz every now and then, a safety blitz every now and then, things like that. But, that defensive line was could get home on their own, and then you had the coverage on the back end that kind of supplemented that as well. So to your point, I don't know if what he's going to be doing is a lot different than what he was doing in Washington. And to your point, Bree, I think that's something that will translate on the field and things being a little bit more simple for these gentlemen moving forward.
I like what Solomon had said, and he had said that it's going to be like an attack front defense first, which is going to be probably a lot of fun for those guys on the defensive line for sure. But the Cowboys also added Peyton Turner, 2021, 28th overall draft pick out of U of H. He spent some time in New Orleans, but injuries have played a role in his career. He played 31 out of 68 games in New Orleans. In 2024, he had actually played a career-high 16 games. Only 5 sacks in 31 games, 50 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. When you pick up a guy like that, what do you feel like Aaron Whitecotton and Eberflus could potentially get out of him when it's someone who's faced so many injuries and haven't seen the field a lot?
I'll start this one because I was actually I was in that market in Louisiana for a little bit. So I reached out to somebody I used to work with, and Seth Lewis, he's been covering New Orleans for the longest time I can remember. And I was just like, hey, I'm doing my research on Peyton Turner. I was like, besides being a former first round pick, which is the theme of the Cowboys free agency this go around, I was like, what can Cowboys fans be excited about? And it was not as positive as I was looking for. It was very short and sweet, but he did say, a lot of it had to do, which you guys just touched on, was the injuries. He was like, there were so many injuries that it was even hard to get to the point to see what he could really do. But he just said his size, like obviously you like his size and what that position, and ideally he is the perfect fit. A lot of potential, but just never happened in there. And he's one of the many guys on the list that is looking for a fresh start. So yeah, that's my report from that.
I mean, look, if we're looking for rotational pieces, and he's not the only guy in that room dealing with injuries, it could help him to be a rotational piece more often than not, and rejuvenate the confidence, because I know injury after injury after injury, eventually it starts to wear at a player's confidence. And, unfortunately, we've seen that with different guys across the league. And it sucks because they can't control that. They know that. They trust the process of their rehab, and then they're back to another injury. And so that's why, not to take it back to Rico, but that's why Rico's story was always so fun for us to cover, because we saw after those injuries had stopped, what he did to get back in where he is now. But to that point, I think it's interesting to watch a guy like that have a second chance, especially with the Cowboys, who do have the training staff here that understand, a rotational piece and why it's so important to extend these players' careers past this season, right? So that's always the goal. And I'm interested to see how they kind of work him in. But hopefully it works out for him here, and you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. What you got?
Peyton Turner.
Yeah. I think
always scare me when you
No, literally.
take a pause like that, because I don't know what's going to come out your mouth.
It's not.
She about to cook.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, it's the Cowboys are really auditioning to be Sam off of Holes. I don't know if you guys remember.
Jesus.
I can fix that. Like, they have I can fix that syndrome real bad. Classic movie, by the way. Classic movie, by the way.
I love you so
But
much.
We had a clip to play.
I'm just saying,
I
like,
can fix that.
it's just I don't understand. And again, I look at the player. I went back and looked at some of his games with the Saints last year. He has bend, he has balance, but with his injuries, again, he can't get in a rhythm. And I think that's important for pass rushers, is for them to establish confidence. And then you can't quantify the time on the field. One thing that I've learned in our ability to go into the locker room and talk to guys and things like that is with the DN position and offensive tackle, they are learning tendencies in game. There's a game within the game that even we don't understand. Yeah. And for someone like him, dealing with his injuries and stuff, I see that he had bend. I see that he had good balance. I see that he used to have good burst off the line. But I don't see that anymore. And a lot of the things that made him special are things that have lacked because of the injury. So for me, this is a gentleman that I'm sure the Cowboys saw however many drafts ago it was. Right. They had a high grade on him, and they wanted the opportunity to bring him in here, and I can fix that.
Yeah.
And I can, and again, I think that we talked about White Cotton. He has the ability to get the best out of guys. We've seen it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to completely just dismiss the idea of Peyton Turner not finding his footing and things like that. But similar to how we were with Tyron, is like how much. Yeah, you have a couple of good games, but like I'm stressed out every time I see you say ouch. I'm stressed out anytime I see you stump a toe, because I don't know if you're going to be reliable. So again, I think as a depth piece, he might be better, like Jess was saying, the rotational piece. But this is, to me, another classic thing of the Cowboys liked him. Mm-hmm. They've liked him. They wanted to get him in the building, and they wanted to see what their staff could do with them. Yeah. And maybe they find some good out of him.
So far, you've got Dante Fowler in the defensive end position. Dante Fowler, Tyra Sweet, Peyton Turner, Sam Williams returning back from ACL injury. Who am I missing? Michael Parsons.
Michael.
Wow.
And
And
Marshawn.
Marshawn Nealon.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Girl, it's
gracious.
okay.
And Tyrus Wheat, I would say Tyrus Wheat is kind of underrated. I would say we haven't talked about him that much, but there are plenty of times in preseason that I was watching him, the run stopping ability, the feel. He has a good feel for playing the run, playing the RPO. This might be an opportunity for someone like him to get more playing time and more experience because the flashes I did see from him, I was like, yeah, he actually likes to play the run. You see? I can see it. You can see he likes to do it.
Yeah.
Some people don't like to do it.
I'm crying. All right, we're going to take our first break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. And up next, we're going to hear from one of the newest running backs in the goddamn studio right here. We'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Do it for confidence on and off the field. Do it for you. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Don't wait. Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The first ever Lone Star Smokeout is coming to Arlington. Watch headliners John Party, Cody Jinks, Midland, and more at this 3-day outdoor country music festival. Plus, enjoy barbecue from some of the best pitmasters in the country. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. Yeehaw.
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 Did I play Isaiah?
Yeehaw.
Jazzy.
Hello, yeehaw.
All right, I can do it for Yeehaw.
Wow, that was good.
That was actually not bad.
No, why'd you sound like him, though?
It was good.
It was good.
Good.
She's waiting for our Bones outro. That's what it is.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I'm sorry.
It's
Oh,
fine.
man. Oh, real quick.
Once I find
What's your story, girl?
I want to give a shout out real quick.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is to Jose. I'm sorry if that's not your name. I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy.
From Las Cruces,
insane.
my hometown. It starts with a J. I know that. But he's from Las Cruces.
Okay.
Last week after the show, my parents needed some stuff fixed at their house. And he showed up and was like looking around, was like, I know this girl. I just saw this girl's like pictures of me and all my dad's cowboy stuff. And he pieced together that was my parents' house. Anyways, he's a big fan of Girls Talk, Boys Talk. He literally had just put our show on pause to go help my parents out at their house. So just wanted to give him a shout out because he said some really nice things about our show. And
Thank you.
We love Jose, maybe, if that's your name.
I'm pretty
From
sure
Las
that's his
Cruces.
name. From Las Cruces. Yes.
Wow.
There we go.
Okay. There we go.
Just gotta show love to those that show love to us.
Absolutely.
We love y'all.
We appreciate the
We
support.
appreciate the support, man. It's
Yeah.
pretty great. We also appreciate the fact that the Cowboys added another running back.
Two.
2.
Yeah. Now
Sorry,
I
Javonte Williams.
live
That
on
was
the edge.
last week.
Yeah, we talked about that last
and
week.
also
think.
Miles Sanders from the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Who also spent some time in Philly. Ladies, first thoughts about the new kid on the block and Miles Sanders.
It's getting kind of weird. It's getting kind of weird. Like I'm not saying it like that, y'all. I'm saying like his skill set to me and Deuce's skill set is very similar. So I think this is a little something. But also
A little message.
I don't know if it's a message. They're just trying to make sure they have enough guys. Whatever. That's fine. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just down Miles Sanders or anything like that. He obviously saw a drop in his production with Carolina because Chuba Hubbard was like,
I got this.
I'm the captain now.
Yep.
Which is normal. So I think he still has some effectiveness. I'm not going to say that he doesn't because the year before with Philly, he was effective. So it's like he still got something in the tank. You can use his shiftiness. You can use his vision. He has fantastic vision. And then also, too, you're getting a change of pace from a Javonte to a Miles Sanders. I think they're just trying to kind of cover their tracks here so we're not in running back HELL later.
Yeah, and I think the same kind of, I'm on the wagon with you. Like, I like that they're, obviously addressing the need at running back. Am I convinced that Miles Sanders and Dante Williams are going to be the 1-2 punch to make the difference? No, I'm not. I think it gives the Dallas Cowboys a little bit of relief when they're looking at that 12th overall pick, that we can start to focus on some of these other voids. And there's quite a few of them. And maybe we can, I know I
running back in the third or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Still cook, still take it seriously in the draft. I also think that reality is, like I think I said last week when I got to Oxnard, I never even met Sam Williams. He was gone already. Injuries happen in camp. I think that is what we're looking at. Because when no disrespect to him, I hope he comes and I hope he finds success. It would be a great story, right? Like we talked about earlier with Rico and what have you. But I put, does he make the team? Because it's not,
right.
That's not what this means. So
I agree.
Yeah.
It's going to be competitive.
I don't know, man. It's no knock to him at all because he's put in this position and you're offered a job, you're going to take it. Yeah, we know that. But the thing is like, I'm just not convinced 100% by this running back room. The only person that I look at in this room currently that I'm like, yep, is Hunter Lipke. And that's it. And guess what? He was already on your team. So, you need extra bodies. You need that competition to be really, I guess, active during training camp and everything. But I can't give you a full assessment until we know post-draft kind of what they have. I will say, though, considering the, I guess now, veteran players you have in that room that are competing for spots, Malik Davis, a Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
It's a little disappointing for them because they have worked to get those opportunities. And yes, I understand you need guys, you need to bring them in. So bringing these two guys in doesn't necessarily change that. But the fact is, the only guy that I am absolutely convinced will make a difference in the run game as of right now is Hunter Lipke. The rest, you haven't seen enough from Deuce Vaughn. You haven't seen enough from Malik Davis to just be convinced and not worried about it. And to be honest, I don't know how much of a draft pick is going to change my mind that I'm not worried about it. Because what I would love is week 1 of the season, you're like, I don't even have to worry about the run game. Solid, done. And we could see that through training camp. But as of right now, I kind of just feel like we did – I don't even want to say last year because we kind of knew Rico should have been the one. But I'm just tired of feeling so unstable and unsteady in the run position overall.
I liked what you said about the opportunities. Before we get to the soundbite from Miles, is the opportunities were there for Malik Davis. He had the running back position won over Rico Dowdle a couple of years ago. And then this year in training camp, this past training camp, he was in the running there. I don't think he fully took advantage of those opportunities when it came down to preseason. And that's, again, It's
your time to shine.
But that's your time to shine, homeboy. Like, and if you don't, then you don't get the job. Like,
I remember when Rico went down, not last year, it was the year before when he was backing up Tony Pollard, and there was an instance where we were all questioning kind of like, well, what happened?
San Fran game.
Who's up next? And I remember in the locker room, Rico was like, well, who do you think it's going to be? Like, obviously it would be Malik. And I'm like, well, I mean, is it going to be though?
Yeah.
It should be. That's the obvious. It should be, but is it going to be?
is there confidence with him?
And this is his kind of last chance, in my eyes, to actually prove that you deserve a spot on this roster, if not that practice squad spot, because now you have two hungry guys that have something to prove to come in here and swipe it up from you. And there's nothing you can really do about it. On top of a Deuce Vaughn, who also needs to prove something. On top of
new staff.
A new
Hello.
That's your friend.
Who got one goal? They
Yep.
all of their visions align right now. So if
Yes.
you don't fit that vision, you probably
you're
not gonna
out.
be here.
And no matter what the veteran status is, there's not that loyalty that you can kind of count on a coaching staff you've been on year after year. That's not here this year. So yeah, I'm kind of keeping a closer eye on him than I have, I guess, most years in the offseason.
Yeah, I think he, as far as like what's happening in the running back room, I personally, I think that if Javonte Williams comes to work, it's going to change the whole conversation. Like, and I think he's here to work. What I'm saying is, it's like what he looks like and how he feels and how he fits. If we get even a glimpse of like what I think he can be, then it does change the conversation a lot for them. So and again, I agree with you. Like, we are in a place of uncertainty,
Very much.
and it's not steady. And this is exhausting because, baby, stop doing this. Like, we've seen how many more times we have to see that the running back position can completely alter your offense.
Yeah.
And you deal with it like you got coupons. Stop doing that.
The coupon thing is crazy.
I'm honestly sick of her.
This second week in a row.
It is.
She likes coupons, but
that's how the offseason
the
works,
Rico
girl.
thing stood out to me when you said that, because when the initial reports looked like he was getting $6 million up front, but that's $6 million with incentives. So the deal with Javonte is actually they're actually paying him
the same.
Don't get me
the same
started.
as what Rico is somewhere else.
And
I will say my only thing is with the Cowboys, say they did nothing, right? No Miles Sanders, then we just look at Javonte. I think would be like, well, what are they doing here? So I'll give them credit for that part, because it's kind of hard with the Cowboys right now because they're gonna hear it either way. But I will say they also just made Turpin the highest paid special teamer in the league, who I expect, to your point, with the coaching staff that's going to utilize him a lot more, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some packages with him in the backfield. And that may be how he's not on the list of names we just said, but in their mind, yes, he is on.
I feel that. I mean, I'm okay with, and I know you.
No, you good. Go ahead.
But I will say, like, at least they are actively trying at this time of year and not baby in June.
And also, like, these players have a say in where they want to go. And Rico's hometown deal looked pretty dang good if he was going to get paid the same thing. In something that he knows might not change and that he constantly has to prove himself, as compared to a situation where it looks like he'll be a very viable 1-2 punch situation in his hometown. Why not? I mean, if I'm Rico, I'm taking that deal.
Bye.
On that note, we got to hear from Miles Sanders. He spoke with Kyle Yeomans when he signed earlier this week. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
One, you don't really get too many places where your OC is the offensive line coach, which is a first for me and exciting for me. I heard about Adams and yeah, just what he's about, and I know his resume is pretty good, and just ready to run the football. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not used to having the offensive line coach as an OC, but I am used to running the ball and having that type of mentality and establishing the line of scrimmage in teams that I've been on. So.
And you've seen that across the board from the Cowboys offensive line the last couple of years on the opposite side of things. I mean, what have you seen from this offensive line, and how excited are you to work with guys like Tyler Smith up in front?
I'm excited, just ready to meet them, just to see what they like to do, what they like from the running back, just really trying to pick their brain and see what we can do, go from there.
Isn't that crazy that Tyler's become like your household name
Literally.
on the O-line? Like that's your guy.
That's how you sell the O-line.
It's Tyler
Get to play
Smith.
with Tyler.
Well, I guess he needs to get paid next year. I just like.
I don't want to think about it.
Why would you say that out loud?
Because you should get it done now, so you don't have to worry about it.
Can we start with Micah first, like, and then we can do?
I think you should pay all of them.
What
I think you should just
Pay
pay all of
Micah
them, get it done.
Like then Deron, and then we can
Yep,
go-
there's a
That's
lot.
stressful,
There's a
too.
lot next. Jake Ferguson next year.
And it's frustrating because you look across the pond and they're doing.
They're making it rain.
They're doing the money stuff. They're pushing stuff down. Like they're pushing stuff back. They're restructuring people. They're just. This is
It's rough out here.
Yeah. Let me ask y'all something. Sorry, we got to go back to that running back conversation. How much does it help when your offensive coordinator has been an offensive line coach in terms of being a running back?
physical coordinator has been on
Did I say that
offensive
right?
line.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know why I
OC
had
like,
to
wait,
use
been an
slow.
O-line coach before.
You know, it's all right, ladies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
I mean,
How much does it help?
I think it helps anytime you have a coach that's versatile, like that knows the importance of tying in your run game to the offensive line, and your running backs get to take advantage of that. Why would you not want that?
Yeah.
I want a versatile coach in every kind of position that can put themselves in any position, especially as an OC within their offense. Heck yeah. And everything stems from that offensive line, girl. So if you have a guy that has a specialty in that offensive line, it just branches out from there. He can really understand. So I think it's a big perk.
Yeah, I say the same. Like, I mean, he said it in his when we just listened to it. Like, I never had it before. Like, that's gonna be new, and you just assume like, obviously, when you get a new head coach, like we got Shoddy, right? He's going to have to branch out, but we know he has an offensive mind. We know where his focus is going. Him bringing all these people who are putting emphasis on the run game. I think it's the same when you're looking at the OC position. This is someone who puts the offensive line ahead in the run game of other things, right? So it's going to be the same translation. If I was a DB or defensive lineman going to play for Dan Quinn, I'm excited because I know that's a defensive-minded head coach. So that's what they're going to. That's supposed to be their strong point. So I think that's what I get from the gist.
Yeah, and as far as like him saying it being different, it is different because if as an offensive line coach, I'm sure how they view the game is different, how they see the game, how they feel the game. And from the offensive line spot, you know, obviously that's the start. That's it. Like, that is your moneymaker. So having a guy come in here and understand the emphasis of the offensive line, but with Clayton Adams, you specifically see that in the type of the ways they run the ball, how versatile he is in running the ball because he has experience, like, being on that side of things. So for me, I think that you're just going to get more insight. You're going to get a better feel. Because I think being an offensive line coach is about feel, and then also too with the technique, making sure that the technique that the guys are doing is parallel to what they do well. Because for the last couple of years, we've heard technique changes. We've heard the players talk about, oh well, this guy wants me to do something different. This guy wants me to do something different. And like I would assume that the OC and offensive line coach, they're supposed to be married.
Yeah.
They're not always married, and I think we saw that in some of the offensive line play. So for a guy to come in and knows how to marry the two, because he's been the two.
Yeah.
He's being the two. I think that's valuable. I'm very excited about Clayton Adams. I really am.
You know who else has to have a good feel of the game, good instincts? A linebacker. We're going to break that down up next on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. The newest linebacker addition in Jack Sanborn. We'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Do it for confidence on and off the field. Do it for you. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Don't wait. Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Press. Hot Mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbers, pot pie, and potatoes next oval with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Ready for the spring season with fresh Cowboys gear. Visit a pro shop near you or shop online at shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience and score swimwear, lightweight tees, hats, and more. Love that. Also wear sunscreen.
Right.
Please wear sunscreen.
Because, baby, I get sunburned.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't have that problem.
I think I did at training camp, actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Y'all know how
so
Bob,
burnt.
y'all know how Bob Marley died?
No.
It took a
Skin cancer. That's what I thought. All right, let's keep talking. So that should be all the information.
Oh
you
my
need to
goodness.
know.
How did we get here?
You need to wear sunscreen. Just because you got melanin don't not mean you don't
public
wear
service announcement.
Please wear
Thank you.
sunscreen. And drink
Protect
water.
your skin.
Appreciate it.
And
I
drink
got
water.
scared.
Drink water, mind your business.
Yep. Drink water, wear sunscreen.
I used to be burnt.
The
when I
motto
was
for
overseas.
2025.
Wear sunscreen.
Got it.
She's very passionate. I didn't realize what I was awakening with that comment. Oh my God.
I'm very passionate about.
All right, ladies. The Cowboys have added another running back, another linebacker, Jack Sanborn alongside Kenneth Murray. But just breaking down a little bit of what Jack does. He came from Chicago, spent 3 years in the Chi-Town. What attracts y'all about Mr. Sanborn?
He look crazy. He's my favorite type of linebacker.
For real.
He's intense. The intensity that he brings to the game, and then the want to stop the run. I do think with stopping the run, it is a want to thing with guys. Like, and I think guys have told us that in the locker room. They've said like this is something you have to be inspired to do. And I think him bringing that to the game. Obviously, we know that DeMarion Overshown is gonna be rehabbing back and stuff like that. So having a guy that can do some Will, that can do some Sam, he can do a little bit of everything. But I think he plays best when he's free, like DeMarion Overshown was. So. He's to me. I think let him roam free, let him be tenacious, and I think his want to play the run is going to spread through to those other guys as well. So I'm excited about it. He's probably one of my favorite signings out of the whole free agency.
And he can also get to the quarterback too. He had 4 sacks last season.
Yeah, the blitzability as well. Yes.
You know what I like is there's a competition for the green dot now. Like
Is it?
I stay upset. Well,
Think he gonna be the Mike?
I think it's gonna be Kenneth Murray.
Who?
Maybe Harris.
But who? But again,
I'm about to
who
faint.
is it? That's what I'm
You right though. You
competition.
fact.
Who is it?
You
Yeah,
right.
we don't know. You're right.
Because
I'm
guess
stressed
what?
out
You
now.
know who it should have been? Should have been Damone Clark.
Should have been.
Because he's done it before, but that's not set in stone. So I'm just saying. I love whoever wears that green dot, that communicating aspect, the ability to just dictate so much. And I'm not saying he's gonna wear it, but I was thinking about it. Like,
No,
There's a lot of options.
You don't know
yeah,
who.
you don't know who. That's kind of fun too, and that kind of gives them an upper hand in that linebacker room in general.
Yeah.
People don't know, but what makes me excited about him is you need a guy in that linebacker room that is infectious. And I say that because you don't have an Eric Kendricks anymore. And I feel like as soon as Eric Kendricks stepped foot in that locker room, you could feel that linebacker room have like a jolt of energy and a burst of life again. You need that. You need a linebacker room to, Aisha's point is a little crazy. You need that kind of infectious personality to be able to have a successful running back room that is productive. And with Demo coming back from injury this season, he's not directly in there all the time. and we're very excited to see he was off his crutches. That was cool. It sounds like rehab's going well for Demo. So on the field, you have a Demo, and then you have just these sparks of personality. It just makes everything so much better. So for me, I like Jack's wittiness, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Jack.
Demo was doing a little line dancing at that wedding too on Instagram.
He was getting it.
Nah, he need
Demo can dance and sing.
somebody
like,
to pop him.
a couple
pop his
singers on
legs.
the team.
Sit your tail down.
a little line dance.
That's important.
He can stick to singing this offseason.
Kind of piggybacking off both of what you guys just said. I'm like excited about the linebacker room and a little nervous at the same time. It's just going back to that certainty. When you lose your leader, if you will, I mean, lead in tackles, Eric Kendricks was a game changer. I remember talking to him when he first got here, and I was like, how do you lead a defense with a new DC, but you're also a veteran player who's had success somewhere else, and you come into this room without kind of overstepping? And I was just like interested because he is that guy when we're looking at it. But I feel like any team you come to, like they kind of already have their establishment. But this is, this is a new linebacker room because we've seen because Overshone is not going to be on the field. Eric Kendricks is gone, so he kind of has it seems to me, like I haven't met him, but it seems to me like he has the personality who's not going to be having any issues coming in and taking over. When we're talking about Kenneth Murray, I put down that he was limited, in my opinion, when you're talking about reading coverage, dropping back into coverage. That's what I like more about Jack. That's why I feel like he's going to be the leader of that group. When I look at Kenneth Murray, I think of more of a, what's the word? I don't want to say a placeholder. Definitely more of a rotation.
Depth piece?
Yeah, when you're talking about for Overshone.
Tracking.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like Jack. I like what he brings. He's not my top favorite, but he's definitely up there.
I think he will, in regard to Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn. First of all, I want to say Mayor Fowler was brought here to be the mic. He was brought here to be the mic. Now, the nugget having to go straight into being like not a little nugget, but a big nugget, and having to be the veteran is a lot to ask. So to you ladies' point, maybe Kenneth Murray is that guy in his ear and teaching him and mentoring him, whatever. But I think we'll see. Like I said, I think Jack Sanborn is better suited as a Will. I think Kenneth Murray is better suited as a Sam. So we'll see. And I need to explain what those mean. I'm sorry, y'all. But I will see what they decide. But what if we look up and Mayor Fowler is the mic?
Hello.
That'd be cool.
That lets you know how much faith they have in him.
But then what does that mean for Damone?
Can I say this about Damone? I think that the Cowboys are, given the gentleman that they're picking, they're looking for people to come forward, consistently come forward. And I thought that Damone Clark had flashes of showing what he was capable of as the mic multiple times last year. Yeah. There's clearly a disconnect there. I really just don't know. But I feel like they want to take a step forward in the aggression and also playing forward consistently, which is... That's just what it is.
I think a cultural reset will help Damone a lot.
Yeah, he needs
I really feel like
I
feel like he needed the change, and having a guy like Jack on the field who has very like Leighton-esque qualities, like Nicole was saying earlier, kind of like that. What's a appropriate way to say it? Just kind of like that big ego on the field. I think that brings the best in a guy like Damone out. I really do. So I'm hoping it has that effect. I'm really hoping for Damone's sake, this new coaching staff is something that vibes with him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Hopefully give him a chance.
All right. Well, this has been a vibe on our show today. For Aisha Morrison, Justin Barres, Brianna Aldridge, I'm Nicole Hutchison. We'll see y'all back here next week.
Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?